People of the State of Michigan versus Christopher Scott Rozner. This is file 21-23822. Mr. Rozner is appearing by video from the Department of Corrections. Mr. Knopfinger is his attorney. Mr. Gabriel is the prosecutor, and it's set today for a plea. Mr. Rozner, if you'd raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Gabriel, the offer?
Your Honor, if Mr. Rozner enters a plea of guilty to the 3 counts in the information, possession of stolen property, and 2 separate fleeing and eludings from police officers, we will dismiss the habitual offender forth notice. We will also ask that the court cap any minimum sentence at 24 months. And again, that's cap. If the court goes below that, that's fine.
Okay. Is that correct, Mr. Knopfinger?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Rozner, the offer is that you plead to 1 count of receiving and concealing a stolen motor vehicle, and that's a felony punishable by up to a maximum of 5 years in the Department of Corrections, and or a fine of up to $10,000 or 3 times the value of the motor vehicle, whichever is greater. To impose a fine of 3 times the value, the defendant must admit the amount, or it must be determined by a trier of fact at trial. Count 2 is a charge of fleeing and eluding in the 4th degree, which is a felony, punishable by up to 2 years in the Department of Corrections and or a fine of up to $500, and the Secretary of State shall suspend your driver's license for 1 year. Count 3 is another charge of fleeing and eluding in the 4th degree, which is a felony punishable by up to 2 years, again, and or a fine of up to $500, and the Secretary of State shall suspend your license for 1 year. The habitual offender 4th offense notice would be dismissed. And in addition, the prosecutor would agree to recommend that your minimum sentence not exceed 24 months. Now, is that your understanding of what the agreement is?
Yes, sir.
You're currently on, or you were on parole at the time of this offense, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you understand that this sentence will not run until your current parole case is done. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you also understand that this offer from the prosecutor that your minimum sentence not exceed 2 years. I mean, 2 of the counts max out at 2 years, so I could never order 2 years on those anyway. This is really for count 1, which is receiving and concealing a stolen motor vehicle, which is punishable by up to 5 years. So you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now you understand if we came back and I looked at it and I said I couldn't go along with that, then you would have the right to withdraw your plea and to start over.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the agreement is that the minimum sentence not exceed 2 years. Not that it be 2 years, just that it be something less than 2 years. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So with that, how do you plead to count 1, receiving and concealing a stolen motor vehicle?
Guilty.
And how do you plead to count 2, fleeing and eluding in the 4th degree?
Guilty.
How do you plead to count 3, fleeing and eluding in the 4th degree?
Guilty.
Has anyone promised you anything to get you to plead to these charges? Other
No,
than
sir.
what we've talked about in court today.
No, sir.
And has anybody threatened you to make you do it?
No, sir.
Are you doing it of your own free will?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you understand if I accept your plea, you'll not have a trial of any kind, and that you'll be giving up the right you would have had at trial. Those include the right to be tried by a jury, to be presumed innocent until proved guilty, to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, to have the witnesses against you appear at trial, to question the witnesses that appear against you, to have the court ordering witnesses you have for the defense to appear at trial, to remain silent during the trial and to not have that silence used against you, and to testify at trial if you want to testify. Do you understand you're giving up all those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you also understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal certain issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial?
Yes.
Further, any appeal for your conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave and not by automatic right as if you were convicted at trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
So it alleges that on September 19th, 2020, you were in Fabius Township, the county of St. Joseph in the state of Michigan. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
And at that time, you did either buy, receive, possess, conceal, or aid in the concealment of a Mustang, which was a stolen motor vehicle, that you knew or had reason to know or reason to believe that the vehicle was stolen, embezzled, or converted. What happened that makes you guilty of that?
I was driving the car and I didn't bring it back. I took off in it.
All right, so you had the car, and then you didn't return it?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you knew it was stolen because you'd taken it longer than you were granted authority to take it.
Yes.
And then you never brought it back?
No.
All right, and then it also alleges that on or about that same date, you committed the offense of fleeing and eluding, that you were the driver of a motor vehicle to whom was given a signal by hand, voice, emergency light, or siren by Brandon Dahl, a police officer who was in uniform at the time and was identified as an official police vehicle acting in the lawful course of his duties. Did Officer Dahl try and stop you?
He tried.
Okay, and he was not successful. And
No.
you did commit the fleeing and eluding.
Yes, sir.
And then it says on that same date, you also fled. You were guilty of fleeing and eluding Officer Hunke, a police officer from Three Rivers, who was identified in his vehicle as a police vehicle. And he tried to stop you also. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how did it finally end?
I ditched the car in the field and got out and ran and called for a ride.
Okay. All right. All right. And okay. And then you made it into Indiana, and then you just did it down there.
Yes, sir.
Are counsel satisfied that a factual basis has been established for each of the counts by the defendant's statement of facts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And are either counsel aware of any of the promises, threats, or inducements?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Court apply the court rule.
Yes, Your Honor.
So has.
Find the pleas made are accurate, understanding, voluntary. There's a factual basis. Therefore, I accept the pleas. We'll set this for sentencing on July 9th, 2021. We're going to send you that packet, Mr. Rozner, to get you to update your pre-sentence report. We'll notify the Department of Corrections. Now, a big question is, you have the right to appear here in St. Joseph County if you wish, or we can do it on video. Do you want to do it on video, or do you want us to have you brought here?
I think it'd be easier for you guys to just do it like this.
Okay, so you're agreeable to do it on video?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. All right. All right, then, we will do that on video then, and we will notify the Department of Corrections of everything and go from there. Thank you, Mr. Rozner. That